I feel so good today. Feeling lucky. What a lovely day. Woke up on a vibe, y'all. Got a brand new thing. Yeah, it's all going my way. My shoes got sold. Got a strut in my walk now. Got a pocket full of sun. Won't say it won't go down. I'm the winner, I can feel it in the city. Yeah, happy when I'm breathing in it. Roll the dice with a 7, hit 11, hit a 7, hit 11 again. I'm all good. Got a 4-leaf clover. Y'all can knock on wood. It's my lucky day. My lucky day. My lucky day. My lucky day.
Here we are with Beta. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Just finishing some stuff right here.
What do you got there?
Finish up the edit for the meeting.
Nice.
Good morning. Good morning. You guys awake? No. Good morning.
Don't rush on that.
All right. How's everyone doing today? I don't know. Let's start over. Turn the music back on. I'm just kidding. All right, let's go. So, make sure you check in. Don't forget to check in today. So, upcoming events. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. in the Green Valley office, they do a round table. Do you want to say anything on that?
Just come if you want to.
Come if you want to. We got financial planning in the Green Valley office, 11 a.m. March 5th. You've got a business generation mastermind Wednesday, March 4th in the Summerlin office at 9 a.m. Looks like you got the same mastermind in the Southwest every Monday at 9 a.m. So this is the same thing they do every Monday, Tyson and them, but they move it to Summerlin before Todd's team meeting or team training. Okay, try to bring that around the valley. We got a 1031 exchange in the Green Valley office, March 5th, 2:30. Commercial meeting Thursday, March 5th at 1 p.m. in the Green Valley office. You got your team building with Tod Barton in the Summerlin office at 9 a.m. Anyone attend that last week?
Yes.
Was it good?
Great.
Todd was there.
Todd was there? Todd was there? You gonna be there this week too?
Yeah, this week.
Todd will be here this week too. Was it good?
Yeah, great.
Okay, so if you missed that, and you have any interest of being on a team or building a team, I think you should be there. And then Java.
Is it at 9 a.m. though?
No. The 9 a.m. is scripts and lead gen, so we'll go 9 to 11. You guys get a little break for lunch, and then the team building actually starts at 2.
Okay, so we'll correct that. Did you guys also see the weekly agenda that came out? Was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay, so we're working on making sure that comes out. The monthly calendar will still come out, but we'll break it down by week as well. And then it's every Friday in the Southwest office at 9 a.m. we have Java with Jesse.
They're even color coordinated now.
Right?
Yeah, they did.
So that means the green ones are in the Green Valley office. Huh.
Yeah. We're working on a full tank in this place.
And this is close to the Summerlin orange. I don't know if you've been with us a long time. The walls in Summerlin used to be a bright, bright orange. Does anyone remember that?
Yeah.
It was hideous. All right, and then we got our team building. Obviously, here's the flyer for that. And then Chris is going to be teaching the Master Series RPA class, and that's coming up March 6th from 9 to 11:30 in Green Valley. Anything you want to say on that?
It's going to be a great class. If you want to come learn some tips and tricks on writing RPAs, come and heckle me. I enjoy every comment. Almost.
All right, and then Janet, did you want to talk about this?
Okay, since Signature started, we have always been big sponsors of
Stay
the,
away from the edge.
maybe you should stand aside there. Of the GLEAR bowling tournament. We started off with 5 teams. Last year, I think we had 10 teams. It's gonna cost you $25 a person. We don't care if you're a good, bad, or indifferent bowler. $25 is going to charity. It's a great time, lots of networking, lots of fun, and it's going to be Friday, April 3rd at Texas Station. I'd like to have at least 11 teams.
Every year.
We want you to wear your signature Strong, thank you. I almost said like. Strong t-shirt because it is a charity event. And not only that, but I want us to take a trophy this year. Last year we did have the third place team, but they only gave out first and second place trophies. So if you want to go, it's $25. Please let me know immediately. You can email me, you can call me, just let me know. I'll need your $25. And we are going to try again to reserve the lanes right in the middle of the alley, so when everybody comes down the escalator in their black t-shirts, here we are in our red. So please consider joining us. It's lots and lots and lots of fun. One other thing, Friday, March 20th, 11 o'clock, Four Seasons, GLVAR General Membership Luncheon. You don't want to miss Steve Sims. He's fabulous. Thank you.
Yay, Janet.
Hold my hand down.
Who knows who Steve Sims is? So I had no clue who this guy was. And so he was at the state convention last year, and I was actually leaving, me and Jesse, and then we're leaving. He runs out and he goes, "Are you guys the video crew at the hotel?" And we said, "Oh." And then we started talking. He goes, "Well, I'm going to be speaking next." And I said, "Well, I'll stay and watch you." And then I was about to walk out anyway, and then one of our agents came by and said, "Well, I'm here for Steve Sims. He's just this great guy." And I'm like, okay. So then I decided I would stay, went up and talked to him a little bit, listened to his presentation. About 20 minutes into his presentation, I realized where I knew his name from. I was reading his book. So,
Like at the time.
at the time, yeah. And then me and Vaughn and I went up and talked to him, and I told him how dumb I was. But he's a dynamic speaker. It's really, if you've never seen him speak, he has a good message. It would be worth your time. Not to mention that the general membership lunches are worth your time anyway, but this will really make it worth it. Okay, Janet, or not Janet, Fonda. Stay away from the edge.
Hi, guys.
Hi. No, it's not a song for you, but for the charity.
Thank you. Okay, it's for the charity, right?
So yesterday, for those of you who attended, thank you so much for coming. Yesterday, we actually went to Finance Park for Junior Achievement. Most of us wore our signature strong shirts. Kelly wanted to stand out, so she wore blue. But it's okay. She was only professionally dressed one. But we did, oh my bad, and Ellie, and Robert. But you couldn't tell about Robert Luskin because but we did the event. One of my favorite quotes from yesterday, it was a group of kids that were together, and one of the girls her scenario was that she was married and had 2 kids, and she said, well, when we were talking about transportation, I said, well, you have to account for transportation for your spouse. And she goes, well, can't I just divorce him and give him the kids? They're expensive too. But I did get a chance to work with my son, and there were some really cool things that came out of that, just learning how to budget. And he was like, you gotta pay all this every month? And I said, yes, every month, honey. And he was like, and just realizing that, yes, groceries cost $150 a week, and that, yes, we are paying for health insurance. It was a phenomenal event. If you guys ever get an opportunity, Finance Park is only around from end of January till about end of April. So if you get a chance to volunteer for them, just go any day that you want. Let me know, I'll help you coordinate. But this was something that I love, the volunteer aspect of our company, and I am so appreciative of those who came. I will tell you that Robert Luskin told every single kid that was at his table that they are not allowed to rent a home, they must buy. So, and they did put that on their little comment sheet, so success, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever get a chance to volunteer for anything that we do at Signature Strong, please do so. We always try to make it fun and a great event. Thank you.
Very cool.
Okay, so this is real. It's been a journey to get to where we are with Signature Strong. Over the years, we've done some great things, and now it's a nonprofit that you guys are able to deduct your contribution on your taxes. So that's a good thing. Last year we did all the proceeds for the awards night went to Signature Strong, doing the same thing this year. So there's a fee to go for a couple reasons. Number one is because we have only room for 220 people, so we have to kind of keep that down a little bit. But the other thing is we're donating this money to Signature Strong. so that we can do great things in our community and give back. And you know, $50 a person isn't a lot to contribute to be able to make an impact. We've donated a 15-passenger van to the Boys and Girls Club in the past, full of backpacks. That was a cool event and a cool thing to do for those kids and to be able to spend times with the Boys and Girls Club. We did K9 for Metro, which was really awesome. It allowed me to get up in a bite suit and actually get bit by the dog. That was fun. It hurt. But it was a lot of good stuff. So we're always looking for other things to do. Some of it's financial stuff that we contribute, and other things is just volunteering and making a difference. So be proud of this, and we'd love to see you at the awards night. Yesterday was the deadline for the RSVP. I RSVP'd for over the amount, so if you still want to go, come see me so we can get you on the list. That way you can attend and be part of the fun. So, that being said, let's bring up Prosperity Lending.
Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Do me a huge favor, gotta get this energy level just a little bit higher so that mine doesn't overflow here. Can you look to the person to your right and say, you are freaking amazing? Sorry, Mom. All right. Do you know what I'm You are freaking amazing, Brandon.
Change the slide.
Okay. All right. So I thought I had a slide up. We were going to talk about rates. How many of you have heard about the coronavirus? I know, right? So one of the great benefits that is, not benefit, but one thing that has happened for us is the interest rates have fallen. So as of the beginning of the year, we were quoting rates at about 4.25%, 4.375. We are now at 3.625, 3.5%. I have some slides I have some information as far as a buyer's purchasing power, but if you were to take a $300,000 sales price or loan amount at 4.25 at the beginning of the year to what it is today at 3.5 today, that's $131 savings for buyers. What that equates to when you do some crazy math, when everybody asks, hey, what's the payment if I just drop at $10,000? I do the simple math of $6 for every 10,000 or $6 for every 1,000. So that $131 is about $21,000 in sales price. So how much more money would a buyer be able to get, or how much lower of a payment would they be able to get now in this rate environment? As well, your investors too, right? $131, would that make a difference on their ROI?
Yeah.
Yeah. So get your buyers out there, whether they're owner-occupied, secondary residence, or investment property. As well, I want to share the interest rates for the HOPE. So HOPE brings you home. We originally started out at 3.125. Today, it's 2.875, below market interest rate. But there's more. How many of you like to solicit to our CCSD teachers? Or start market, not solicit, that's fine.
Yeah, not allowed to do that anymore.
Yes, okay, so their interest rates today is at 2.75. They get the $7,500 kicker bonus, which is going to be for their down payment and or closing costs. And then for our veterans, how many of you service our veterans? Thank you so much for doing that. Their interest rate as well, the below market interest rate is going to be 2.75. So, equity may be gaining, rates are falling. If you guys need anything in regards to cost of waiting, buy versus rent, you want to see what the interest rates are for yourself because you love to do a refinance, we would love to help you. So that's all I have. Any questions for me? None. All right, have an amazing day.
Okay. Did everyone sign in today?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to watch for the Mad Rush. I'm going to give away 2 hockey tickets to tonight's game. We're going to do it off of the sign-in sheet, so make sure you sign in. Right? 1 entry per person. Right?
I got a pair. I'll pair my pair for tonight.
So now there's 2 sets of 2.
But you have to sit next to me, sorry.
What's the rate for that?
Right? So make sure you sign in. We're going to give away 4 tickets, basically. All right, so next up, we have Chris Bishop with his sales tip.
That's right. So who was here last week when I talked about the new apprenticeship program? Good stuff? Anyone know somebody that needs an apprenticeship? Help? help with Marketplace? He's pointing at you, you're pointing at him. I agree with both of you. So, who here has ever placed a referral with an agent out of state? Right? It's the best thing you can do in real estate, because the nice part about a referral is you connect two people, and someday down the road you receive a check. Right? It sounds really easy. Who here has placed that referral and never heard from that agent again? It happens all the time. And what we find out is the agent on the other side, they've got a lot of business, or they have no business, they're not very motivated, they don't really know what they're doing. And so how do you usually find that agent? Say Google. Say personal friend. And so what we've decided to do is, every week since I've been here, I noticed on the Facebook page an agent that goes on and says, I have a referral to place, do you know an agent here in Warrensville, Ohio? And crickets, right? And then once in a while someone says, oh, I have a friend that's in that area. So what we decided to do is we've created our own signature referral program. And so the way it'll work is that you will send an email to me or to our management email, and we will place your referral, and I will guarantee you a 25% referral fee. You want to know the best part? You don't have to negotiate it. I'm going to do it for you. And so I've seen this a lot too, is that an agent places a referral, and a lot of the times they're like, what should you ask for a referral fee? Right? I don't know, 10%, 5%, nothing. You know, we're going to make sure that you get what you are due, and the best part is, I'm going to track the referral from the time you place it all the way to the end, and if the agent on the other side does a bad job, the contract I have with them says we can replace them. Does that sound like a plan? Yeah. Did that help you sell more houses? Yes. Did that help you get more income? Yes. So what do you have to do? Email me. I'm going to place it. I'll let you know the agent on the other side. If you want to have a conversation with that agent and tell them all your client's weirdnesses, that's okay too, because I've done that many times just to let them know what they're going to expect from the client. But we're going to make it a seamless, easy process, all for your benefit.
What is that email address, Chris?
So you can send it to chris@signaturenv.com, or we've created a new email, management, and it's mgmt@signaturenv.com. And we'll send it out on the Facebook page and by email and courier pigeon and everything else. Any questions on that program? Can I tell you one other thing? So who here likes to go to real estate conventions? 3 people. I appreciate your support. So one of the benefits of being the state president this year is I get to host the state real estate convention. So I hope for applause. Who here knew we had a state real estate convention? Wow, more people knew about it than went last year. That's great. So this year, for the first time in probably 18 years, it's going to be held in Lake Tahoe. Right? Who here wants a vacation to Lake Tahoe? Oh, yeah. That's right. So write these dates down. It's October 1st and 2nd. And the reason I'm telling you now, before it's gone out to anybody, is I only have room for 300 people. And so if you want to participate, email me at chris@signaturenv.com. I'll be able to tell you pricing, and basically the convention itself will probably end up being less than $50 for 3 days of amazing speakers. What'll cost you money is the room at the Hyatt and Incline. Anyone ever stayed there? No. So the bad part about this convention is that the convention setup will be in a conference room, a massive convention area, and it looks out over Lake Tahoe. Oh. So you won't even know what the speaker's talking about. You won't know what's going on. You'll just be sitting there all day enjoying the beautiful view. And we have a bunch of stuff planned. I'm thinking probably Mike Ferry will be one of our keynotes. Governor Sisolak will be one of the keynotes. Congresswoman Dina Titus possibly, I don't know. So we have a whole group of speakers from sales training to marketing, statistics, to agent panels, you name it. It's going to be a good time to have by all. Any questions on that?
What's the date again?
It's October 1st and 2nd. And so I'm praying it doesn't snow. Because if it does, I'm screwed. So if you guys need anything at all, again, the email chris@signaturenv.com can help you out. Yes, Janet?
Do you also want to mention the Regional 11 conference?
Not really, it's not my conference. So we have the honor of having Dave Tina as a RVP, and Dave is hosting a local conference, which is the regional conference. He's doing the technology conference, so NAR is bringing in all of their tech gurus. It's going to be at the JW Marriott, April 14th? I think it's April 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's going to cost you like $300, but the best part is you just have to pay for the ticket. You don't have to stay at the hotel, but you can drive to it and enjoy 1 or 2 days. Anything else, Janet?
That's it.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Oh, wait, my coffee.
It's so important.
Hold, please.
He's lost without it. I don't even think there's anything in the cup. He just carries it around.
Oh, there's something in it.
Helps him get through the day.
We don't know what's in there.
All right, for your main speaker today, let's give a big round of applause to our sales manager, Tod Barton.
So let me say first, some of you know I've been a little sick. I'm not contagious, according to the doctor. I was asked to get up today and kind of talk about a subject that I could pick on my own a few minutes ago. So I have two choices. I could announce that I officially have coronavirus and you'll all just leave. Or we can talk about business planning. Anybody want to talk about business planning? Because I really don't have that beer flu that my wife calls it. She can't get coronavirus. All right, so how many people would love to donate more money to Signature Strong? Anybody? Is that is that part of your business plan this year? To be able to donate? I happen to know that coming up very shortly, you're going to be able to donate a little bit of your money on your disbursements. Is that what it's called? Is that the official signature name for how you give away your money? It's called disbursements. It's how you get money too, right? So one thing that I do every year with my team specifically, we take a whole day, block out the day, we go to some place, my house, some hotel, some park, I don't know, wherever we decide to go. And we sit down for the day and we kind of talk about what does the next year look like? What is the business plan? What does anybody really think we talk about that day? Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is high participation or it'll be really quiet because I'll wait for you to answer. So when I ask a question, somebody throw something out there or we'll just stay real quiet.
Goals.
Making money.
Goals. Making money. What else?
What'd she say? Some people have better plans than others.
I almost fell off this. All right, so maybe Andrew's probably the closest, as we like to talk about how much money we're going to make next year, and we kind of plan what that looks like. So let me ask each of you, how many of you, by raise of hand, know how much money you're going to make in 2020? Okay, so there's about 40% that know how much money they're going to make. How did you decide that? Anybody want to say how they decided how much money they were going to make?
Random selection.
Random selection, that's a very popular method. Ninja sales training. Ninja. Okay, so who's attending that class right now? Every Monday, 12:30 here in the Southwest office. Great class, great book. I happen to know that Mark, because him and I talk quite a bit, he's actually read the book twice in the last month, right? So, great book. But who woke up this morning and said, I want to do some math today. I'm so excited because I'm going to do some math. Anybody? Hey Chris, can you help me get that? I love to ask Chris to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody get out a piece of paper. If you don't have a piece of paper, you can write it on your hand. Right here, your palm. If you don't have a piece of paper or don't want to write on your palm, you can just watch and maybe get something from it. So we're going to figure out, you can put it on your phone, sure. Thanks, Steve. Is it Steve in? Sorry. All right, how many listings do you have to sell this year? Does anybody know the answer to that? Okay, so you know how many you have to sell this year. How many buyers do you have to close this year? Do you know that as well? So we have one person that knows, okay, two people. Anybody else? This is not an auction, but we have three. We have four. All right.
Hey, five.
Can we, anybody? Five people know. All we want to know is we want to determine today how many listings you need to close and how many buyers you need to close to make however much money you want to make. Now, there's lots of ways to decide how much money you want to make. What do you think when every agent is asked, how much money do you want to make next year in real estate? What's the most popular answer? $100,000. Okay. Now, that doesn't have to be everyone's number.
Is that gross or net?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That's a great question. We're going to get to what is gross, what is net. And it can be either for you, you could look at this as, does everybody know the difference between gross and net? Like, gross is how much I get, but net is how much I get to keep. It actually goes physically in my bank account from my wall, or whatever that looks like. Okay, so let me ask this question. At $100,000, I want you to write down your number. It doesn't have to be 100,000. It could be 250. Anybody have a goal bigger than 250? I do. Okay, yes. Mark. So there are some people that have a little bit bigger goal. That's okay. So all of your numbers can be the same. Then there's this thing called cost of sales. Does anybody know what cost of sales are? Give me some examples.
Marketing.
Marketing, advertising, okay, car expenses,
Assistance.
Okay, so maybe it's an employee. Anybody plan on hiring any employees this year? Okay, what's the difference between cost of sales and operating expenses? Some of those things are operating expenses, right? Like somebody that you hire might be an operating expense, or your printer might be an operating expense, right? So I want you to figure, this is just a very round number, but I want you to figure about 30% of your money that you're gonna make is gonna be both cost of sales and your operating expenses.
That's the total between the two?
Total between the two. So I want you to take $100,000 and I want you to add 30% to it. What's the number? Okay. So if I'm going to put $100,000 in my pocket, I have to make $130,000. Does that make sense? To cover my expenses, so now I can put $100 in my pocket. What is this? What's another name for this number? Gross what?
Gross profit.
GCI.
GCI, or gross commission income.
Yeah.
So my gross commission income has to be $130,000. Is that fair? All right. Anybody working on a different number than this? Like I want you to real live do this. This is real. This is real. When we get done at the bottom, you're going to know exactly how many listings and how many buyers you're going to need to close this year. And then you can look at it, because it's March 2nd, you can look at it and say, okay, I'm ahead of schedule, I'm behind schedule, but either way, I'll know where I'm at. Does that make a difference to anybody, like actually knowing where you are in your business plan each month?
Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it?
Might be, yeah, might be good. So the difference between this, by the way, is treating your real estate business as a business so that you can make as much money as you need to make, or you can just shoot from the hip. Who shot from the hip last year? Let's just be honest with you. I didn't, but it happens, right? Like, okay, I'm a realtor. I know that I can make X amount of money. I just gotta go do it. And then July comes around, and what happens? Oh man, I'm halfway through the year, and wow, I might need to make some changes. And then October hits, and what happens?
Right. Panic.
Sheer panic. Like, oh man, I'm not going to even get close to my number. I got to do something different. So we'd like that sheer panic to start at the beginning of the year, so that it lasts. So when you get to July, you get to say, what's the goal for July? Anybody know? What do you want to be able to say to yourself?
Be halfway there.
I want to be ahead of schedule.
You want to be halfway. You really want to be ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
You really want to be able to go, okay, based on my goals, based on what I've been doing, because I've been tracking my goals, I need to up my goal. Like my number needs to go up to 200 probably, because I want to make it a hard thing to reach. Okay, so, all right, here's next. I want you to write on your piece of paper, what is your gross revenue going to be from buyers and from sellers? So let's split it in half. So on this side will be sellers. So this is your gross revenue. What does that mean? Gross revenue. How much of this 130 is going to be from sellers, and how much of it is going to come from buyers? Does anybody know what the percentage between buyers and sellers was in 2019?
50-50.
So 50-50? So, by the way, that's fairly common, Andrew?
75-25.
75 which way?
Listings.
Okay, so he had 75% listings. So he would take this 130, and 75% of that would be what would go here. Does that make sense? And then the other 25 would come from buyers. Anybody else have a weird number?
60-40.
60-40? Okay, so 60 sellers, 60 40s. I'll tell you a really quick story. I profess my entire real estate career that I'm a listing agent, not a buyer's agent. Don't ask me to work with buyers. I don't want to work with buyers. I'm a listing agent. Don't ask me to take a buyer to look at houses. Like, I'm just really an idiot. I'm a listing agent. Guess what my percentage has been every single year, within 1 or 2%, no matter what?
60-40.
60-40 sellers. I did at least get the seller side. But it's always 60-40. I don't know
You
why.
work with the majority of sellers. So you-
Well, I closed more sellers than I did buyers, but I really wanted it to be like 90-10. Like, I would do this every year, and it would be 90% sellers, 10% buyers. And at the end of the year, it was 58% sellers and 42%. It just was always that. So 60-40, if you want to be a listing agent, is probably a decent number. Sorry, I'm really trying not to cough. All right, so everybody got their numbers written down? So who can tell me what the, if I'm at 130 and let's just use 60-40, what does this need to be? Remember the quiet part? I'm okay. Sorry? 78,000. So 78,000 is going to come from sellers.
And 52,000.
And 52,000 is going to come. Now, guys, this is money in your pocket. This is commission checks. You're going to get $78,000 worth of commission from sellers. You're going to get $52,000 of commission from buyer files that you close. What's your average commission?
$9,000.
I'm sorry, percentage, thanks. What's your average percentage? 2.5 on both buyers and sellers? 3 on which one, buyers or sellers? So you're 3 on both?
3.5 on sellers, 2.5.
3.5 on sellers, 2.5 on buyers. Okay? Did you guys hear that? Nobody else, there was no gasping, I'm really surprised. 3.5 on sellers, 2.5 on buyers. Is that how you're running your business? You're getting 3.5 on every listing that you do? Seriously? Raise your hand if you're getting above 3 on every listing that you do. Okay? Right. That could be part of your business plan, guys. This is why we figure this stuff out. Because you could say, I'm not going to take a listing unless I'm going to get 3.5% commission on it. Does that make sense? Ever thought about that? Okay. So on our team, we're 3.4 on listing sides. We're 2.8 on buyer sides. We're trying to get our buyer sides up to 3, but that's the percentage. Can we just use, I think it's pretty safe to say it's 2.5% on the buy sides on average right now.
Hey, Todd, can I ask a question?
And we'll go 3.5% on the sell side, yes.
When you say you're trying to increase your percentage on your buyer side, how do you control that?
Every single buyer signs a buyer broker agreement. We actually call it a loyalty agreement, and it is, it dictates in there our minimum commission, and our minimum commission both as a dollar amount or a percentage, whichever is higher, and then we collect a transaction fee. So we control that by having every buyer sign a loyalty agreement. Does that answer the question? Okay. All right, so who's doing the math? Seemed very quick with your phone there.
So you said 3.5, but you wrote 3.
Yeah, you said 3.5.
3 on the sellers, 2.5 on the buyers. I think that's more average for the industry. Okay.
Do the math on 3%.
So you're going to divide this number by 3.5%, by 3%. Or I said it again.
2.6 million.
So this is, so 78,000 divided by 3 is, you said 2.6?
No, that can't be right.
Yeah, it is.
That's
2.6 million?
So
2.6 million in sales. So you have to sell 2.6 million in sales
Volume.
to make.
So 2.6?
2.6. That doesn't sound right though.
Yeah, it didn't.
Do it backwards.
Every million's 30,000.
So if I sell a $2.6 million house, all realtors can do this in their head. If I sell a $2.6 million and I get a 3% commission, how much is my check?
78,000.
Seems right. Right, okay, let's do this then. So 52 divided by 2.5.
31.
2,080,000.
2,080,000. All right. All right, cool. Does that make sense? So let me just make this really easy for all of you. Go find a buyer that buys a $2.1 million and go sell a $2.6 million house, and you're done.
It's a move down seller. They're going to move down from the big house.
Oh, so you're going to sell this house and they're downsizing.
One buy.
Well, fine. It's really easy.
Well, why can't I find a buyer that's just upgrading? They had a child that cost them $500,000, and so they jumped up.
Trying to make it easy.
All right, so that's pretty easy, right? Pretty easy to figure out. All right, so here's the next question. What's your average sales price? Everybody has a different average sales price because some of us work in the upper price arena, some of us in the lower. What's the average sales price? 250, someone said?
300.
It's actually 280.
The market's 315.
So Chris says the market's 315, average sales price. You want to just go 300? Makes the numbers easier. Thomas, you want to go 300 so you can do the math easier? All right. Average sales price. So this is your average, wow, sales price. Where is Aaliyah? She writes so much better than I do. All right, so if we have a $300,000 average sales price,
8.67 for sellers.
okay, so you need 8.6.
So you
Well, what?
at 9 sales.
So that's at 100% conversion though.
Yeah, so that's closings. Yeah, you need 9 closings.
Okay, well, before we get, that's how many you have to get sold. Say that again. So 2.6 million at 300,000, we need to close.
9 deals.
9 deals.
9 deals.
8.6 billion.
And how about over here? How about on the buy side?
7 deals.
7 deals total. Okay, so someone do the math. 9 plus 7 is 16. Does that make it any easier to figure out how to make 100 grand? You got to close 16 transactions. That's just barely over one a month.
Yeah.
No, is that good?
No.
Are we all killing one a month?
I think you depressed half the crowd.
What? I think this should be exciting to know that you've just got to do one, little over one a month to be able to make $100,000. Seems pretty simple, right? All right. So, but there is this thing called conversion rates. Like, does every single listing you take close?
No.
Why not?
Price too high.
Shit happens, she says. Okay, so it's priced too high, it doesn't close. What else?
Poor condition.
It's in bad condition.
The more volume you do, the less.
Okay, so the theory is the more volume you do, the less likely you are to close all of them. So I've said that several times. Well, every listing I've ever taken closed. Come to find out they took 2 in their entire 10-year career, and probably wasn't very hard to close those 2. So there's conversion ratios. What's the average conversion ratio on a listing? Anybody know?
80%.
80? That's pretty high. Yeah. 65%. So 65% of your listings are going to close. Let me be clear about this. This isn't because you didn't do a good job pricing it or condition or shit didn't happen. It's because it's called turnover. If you take a listing in November or December, when do you typically get paid for it? January, February, March, right? So there's also the listings that you take this year that won't close this year and they'll close next year. So you're still closing them, but it doesn't count into your numbers this year. So on average, that's about 65%. So divide 9 by 65%. What do we get? So 14. You got to have 14 running listings a year. All year long, you got to have 14 listings running. Does that make sense? That's actually high. If you have 14 running all year long, you'll close way more than 9. But you have to at least list 14 in this year's time in order to close 9. All right, what about this side? Buy side. Or is the buy side higher, by the way? Like, what's the close ratio, or what's the number of buyers that you put into contract that actually close? When I say into contract, they've signed a RPA, and it's 75. So she loses approximately 25% of deals that go into escrow. Could be 90%. Let's just all agree it's different for everybody. And what is the average is 80%. So do that times 80 for me. So 8 are divided by 80.
8.7 9.
9? Okay. So guys, we're rounding up on all of these. We'll call that contracts. So we've taken 14 listings and we've put 9 buyers under contract. Not under contract as in a buyer-broker agreement, but under contract as in on a property in a house, and escrow's been opened. Make sense? So is this getting any easier to close 100 grand? It seems like it's pretty simple when you've only got to close 16. Okay, so what about sorry, I'm trying not to cough it. All right, so the last question is, how do I take 14 listings? We're running out of time. Oh, I got time. I only got 30 minutes, by the way, so not only did I. So how many listings, how do I go get 14 listings? How do I do that? How many listing appointments do I need to go on?
I only need to go on 14.
Depends on your conversion rate.
28.
How good are you?
How good am I? Are you asking or are you just saying? Yeah, so it's different for everybody. Do you know your conversion rate? Do you know how many listing appointments you went on in 2019? And how many did you actually convert to a contract? Those are all numbers you should be tracking every year. Like, these are all numbers you should know so that when you business plan for next year, you can do 2 things. 1, plan accurately, and 2, set new goals. If my conversion ratio on listings is 60%, and I want it to be 80%, then I've got to do what?
Get better at scripts.
Get better at scripts. Get better at answering questions. Get better at asking qualifying questions before I go on the listing appointment. Who's ever been on a listing appointment and went, yeah, I probably shouldn't have come today. Like, you didn't ask enough questions before you went to know whether it was a real listing appointment or not. I talked to an agent recently who went on a listing appointment and ends up that it wasn't what he was thinking it was going to be. So I think that happens quite a bit. That's about conversion ratio, and you'll have to get better at asking qualifying questions. So what's the average? Anybody know the average conversion? If I go on a listing appointment, how many times out of 10 am I going to actually take that listing, get it signed while I'm there? 6. Wow, you really think I'm bad at this? That's brutal. No, I'm just joking. So 6, 7. Okay, so the national average is 80. 80% of the time when you go on a listing appointment, you'll actually take that listing. So can we do
Let's round down on that one, say 17.
So 17 listing appointments. Okay, and how about on the buy side? By the way, the buy side is the bad side here. I mean, how many buyers do you meet with 1 out of 10 that actually close a deal with you?
23.
3. Oh, that's not quite that bad. And what's the guess? Average 65%. National average is about 65%. Now, these are of buyers that you meet with that sign a buyer-broker agreement. Okay, so if they're signing a buyer-broker agreement or a loyalty agreement, which is what we call it, 65% of them will actually close a deal this year. Now, don't feel bad, because some of them carry over to next year. Like, they don't buy this year, but they end up buying the next year. So it's not that you only close 65%, it's what actually can get done in the 12 months. So what's that number? 14. Okay, so I've got to go on 17 listing appointments this year, and I've got to go get 14 buyer-broker agreements signed. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, who knows these numbers that are theirs for real now? Was it what you thought it was? I mean, if you don't want to answer, it's just that I really
Yeah. I mean, we did this in the boot camp, so yeah.
There's a boot camp here. You do this? Is that in your boot camp? Awesome. I didn't know that. Sorry. Want me to start over?
You guys haven't been through it?
I could go to another subject if you guys want to. I'm running out of time.
But
All right, so.
But actually, I haven't, now that you're doing it, the thing that I did consider, because with Brandon, he gives us a spreadsheet, right? So it's like done for us. But I hadn't really thought about what my actual, like going back and looking at the data myself. And I'm thinking now pipelines, like, am I looking at my pipeline effectively to know where those conversions are happening, or if they're not? I've never gone back and looked at.
Okay, so knowing last year's numbers, moving into the next year is super important because it's different. I mean, let's just do one quick change on the listing side. So let's do this on the buyer side. V, do you mind sharing what your buyer side average is? Commission, do you know? Is it around 3?
No, it's 2.5.
2.5, okay. So let's go with her at 3.5 here. We're 3.2, but do that math for me real quick. If we're at 78, we're divide that 78 by that 3.5%.
So 2.28.
Right, so 2.28 million.
Or 2.228, sorry.
Okay, so if you finish that going down, just with a 0.5% change, I think you're going to find it's going to change it by a couple of closings.
They're keeping 3.5.
Okay, so seven total. So a 0.5% in one spot makes a substantial difference, right? So you got to know your numbers. How can you find your numbers? Hold on. I still have 3 minutes. How can you go find your numbers? Do you know them? Okay, if you don't know your numbers, you need to figure them out. You need to know them. And by the way, you're going to say, well, what numbers do I need? These are the numbers that you need. Okay, I'll send out I'll post it on Facebook, and I'll list specifically what numbers you should know. And if you collect those numbers, not just make them up, but if you actually go get real numbers, and I'll know if they're real based on the numbers that you give me, I'll sit down with you and we'll figure this out exactly what it is for you exactly, so that you'll know moving forward for the rest of the year exactly what your goals are each month, right? I'll even, if you'll do that, I'll even get you to the point where I will tell you how many people each month you need to talk to about real estate. So how many real estate-based conversations you have to have each month. And then of course you can divide by 4 and make that per week. And then every week you'll have a business plan that you can say, today, it's Monday, and I'm gonna talk to 5 people. Now, I don't care how you talk to them. It could be on the phone, it can be cold calling, it can be door knocking, it can be open houses, it could be at the grocery store, it can be at the mall, it can be in a social setting. I don't care how you talk to them, I don't care where you find them, but one thing we know for sure is if you have enough real estate-based conversations, you will make the money that you want to make. And the amount of money that you want to make is only determined by the number of people you're willing to talk to. And I'll give you that number if you collect that stuff up. Any questions? No? Serious? Yes.
I do. So I have this spreadsheet that Brandon gave us, but where would you store this data? Like, where do you store this data?
I use a system called CTE.
Okay.
It's a major glorified spreadsheet. It's like 775 pages of all kinds of stuff. I'm a real numbers person, so it's like my happy time. I go to CTE when I'm in a bad mood, so I can look at numbers and it's all cool. That's where I do it. There's many business plans out there. You can do it on an Excel spreadsheet. That's just as easy as well. I actually have an Excel spreadsheet that has this, that if you collect your numbers and you want the Excel spreadsheet, happy to share it with you. But you're gonna have to do the work to be able to get that kind of stuff. The other place to store it, you wanna know where the best place to store these numbers is? On the mirror in your bathroom. Like, just take the left side, start at the top, write your number, and then if you wanna really be good about it, you'll change the numbers as the year goes along. Every day that you see it, you'll keep top of mind and you'll do it. Yes, back there. Yes.
15 years, they never
Yes. 100%. It's just the same. I mean, the statistics will tell you that 82% of people who sign a buyer broker agreement do a deal with you. Only 28% of people who don't sign one do a deal with you. I just play the percentages. The question I think you have is, have I lost people asking them to sign the buyer loyalty agreement? Absolutely, we have. And that's a part of our business decision. That's the decision we make to decide.
How many of them really ever bought?
I'm sorry?
How many of them ever really bought? Anyway.
The ones who didn't sign?
Yeah.
I don't know, because we don't work with them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, that's just my business decision. That's just how we operate. If you want to work with us, we're going to be, like, our goal is to give the best customer service available in the real estate industry. And if you look at any of the stuff I put out to the public, that's what it says. And I'm going to live up to that. And if they're not willing to at least sign something that says they want my great customer service, I don't want to waste my time there. Now, I know a lot of agents just like you that have worked for years and years and years and they've never signed one and they're doing just fine. And I'm not saying change your business practice. That's just our business practice. That's all. What else? Brandon's walking up. I probably got to be.
No, you're fine.
Anything else? So if you'll do the numbers, if you'll collect your numbers, and I'll put it on Facebook. I see them work. I'll sit down with you. We can do it as a group. We can do it individually. Let's be honest. Some of these numbers are very sensitive. Like, some people didn't write a number down because they didn't want the person sitting next to them to know what it is. I get that. So I'll sit down with you. It won't take very long. It's a math equation. It's pretty fast. And I'll tell you exactly what your number needs to be and how many people you need to talk to on a monthly basis to make the money that you say you want to make. Yes?
I just wanted to say, Breakthrough Broker has an Excel spreadsheet that basically breaks down the percentages. It has the gross commission, buyers, sellers, and it also breaks down the, all your expenses. It's pretty good. That's what I used last year.
Yeah, so Breakthrough Broker, I think, is a lot like CTE. There's tons. Guys, I didn't make this up. Like, I'm not this smart. I just used this system for a long time. And that's how I know it. And so there's tons of different people out there that have different, I mean, Brandon has one too, apparently, that I didn't know about. Can't wait to go to that. What class is it?
No, it's a spreadsheet.
The Academy.
Oh, the Academy. We just talked about that. Cool. So I can't wait to go to that so I can see what that's about. Anything else? By the way, who in here is going to the next Academy? Anybody know?
They don't know about it yet.
Well, they should start planning to go. And you'll find out when it is, when it comes out.
The next one will be scheduled for April.
So it'll be in April.
So you have plenty of time to get ready.
Brandon's teaching it.
I'll teach you.
So you should go. Any other questions?
Let's give Todd a round of applause. He did awesome.
So he just made you guys an amazing offer. To actually sit down and go over and develop these numbers so you guys have a plan moving forward. Who's going to take advantage of that? I think you all should. I mean, even if you figured your own numbers, it's someone else you can sit down and bounce that off and just create that other level of accountability for yourself. I think it's a tremendous thing. And then you can start running your business by design rather than default. And you can actually have some control over your income rather than just hoping. How many of you want regular paychecks? You know? How many of you want a regular job? Okay, so you have two choices. You can go get a regular job for that, or you can develop a plan in real estate that you can make regular paychecks. Okay? So everyone sign in?
Yes.
We're going to do our drawing. The first two are going to be compliments of Shelly. Where is she? She's still here? Shelly. All right. 4. Oh, nobody put their name there. I'm just kidding. 34. 34 is Cindy Barone. Nice. And then for the other two seats, compliments of signature, 32.
Wow.
Which is Linda Stewart. So, get with me and I'll get the transfer to you. Anything else before we let you go?
You haven't?
All right, let's go make it a productive week. Thanks, guys.